Hey there, my name is Mia, and I'm a product manager, a longtime Miro user, and more recently have taken up vibe coding in my spare time. And I built this Miro prototyping flow because I needed a faster, cheaper way to iterate on my nephew's tutoring app without burning a ton of tokens in Cloud Code. And what I ended up with is a three-phase flow that turns sticky note feedback on a screenshot into a clickable prototype that you can hand off to your development team or directly straight into Cloud Code. So whether you're a product manager or a designer or a solo builder, this flow consolidates the entire feedback loop inside of one Miro board that you can run in minutes. And so quick orientation before I dive into each step. At the top, you'll see the introduction and the instructions. And then in the middle section, you'll see a live example that I used with my nephew's tutoring app. And then at the bottom here is the blank template that you can plug your application into and use in your existing workflows. So to go into each step and each phase in this workflow, step one is all about capturing feedback on your existing app. So all you have to do is drop a screenshot of your app into this frame and then add sticky notes directly onto those UI elements that they're talking about. This can either be done solo or with your team. And what you'll find is you can actually add a really wide range of feedback. Things that are really vague, like this has poor readability or the colors are too dark, or something really specific like move this button up to the top or add some emojis here. And what Miro is really good at doing already is spatial reasoning. So it picks up on where each sticky is positioned in the screenshot, and the flow handles that range really well. And then step two is all about transforming that sticky note feedback into really well-structured feature changes in this flow into a table. And you may be asking why a table and not just a summary in a document. And that's because the whole point of this step is to make it really easy for you to decide what's worth building before anything actually gets rendered. So you see this run preview column here. This acts as a toggle, and that's how you basically tell the flow which features to include in the prototype generation in the next step. So before we actually generate that prototype in phase three, I wanted to call out this sub-step. And that's where you'll need to run this step right after dropping the screenshot in the previous step. And that's because when you generate the prototype, you're basically asking AI to do two things at once. One is implementing the feedback changes onto the prototype. And the second step is making that prototype clickable and editable and in Miro's format. So what I found is that breaking this into two steps really helps improve the quality of the prototype and how closely that prototype matches the original screenshot that you input. So it's a really small step, but it's definitely worth it. And then step three is the primary output of this entire flow. So again, once you've toggled the features that you want to preview in this prototype, you will get a rendered updated version with exactly those changes that you applied. And again, Miro AI is really good at that spatial reasoning. As you can see in the previous step, it took note of those components and elements, and it didn't get lost to the prototype generation step. And this prototype is fully editable. So I call this a prototype playground because this is where you're able to make any last minute edits if the result doesn't look quite right to you. Something that you can also do is go back to step two and generate a new combination of feature changes using this toggleable column here, again, to make this prototype approved and ready to hand off to either your developers or Cloud Code. And this is the final step. However, Step 4 is optional in case you want to generate any action items or ready to import stories. You can do that by running the flow step here. Or maybe you're a solo builder and you're trying to get a change log for your release notes. You can run this step or just skip this step entirely and hand that prototype off to your dev team or to Cloud Code. So I really see this flow as a building block that is repeatable and makes every other step in the product development lifecycle easier and keeps that context retained. But I want to turn it over to you guys to clone this template and let me know how it works for you.